Hi, I'm Jasmine Hong, and this is a short digital course on history, a closer look at the civil rights movement. In this course, we will discuss the intro to the course. Learning about history allows newer generations to correct past mistakes and change the future. The learning objectives, the knowledge you will gain from this course. The learning theory and approach to teaching this course about the civil rights movement. And lastly, about the civil rights movement, everything about the civil rights movement. First is the introduction to the course. The civil rights movement played an important role in the course of the United States history. Civil rights leaders, including Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and more, were pivotal in creating changes within the government system about discrimination against people of color. Learning about one's history allows newer generations to think critically and transform their preconceived ideologies to generate new ones that will correct the past mistakes. Second are the learning objectives. Understand and define the civil rights movement, be able to critically think about the situations that many people of color faced, consider the various viewpoints of the different races involved in the civil rights movement, support sound arguments with relevant research and supporting evidence, analyze the different pieces of text, speeches, and poems written during the civil rights movement, and being able to convey the message with evidence. Number 3 is the learning theory and approach. In this class, we will be using blog posts. In combination with the lectures, students will have to complete blog posts online and interact with one another, discussing topics regarding the civil rights movement. We will also be using multimodal sources. In addition, students will analyze online images, including political cartoons, photographs, and interpret the messages with supporting evidence. And lastly, for the learning theory and approach, Socratic seminars. Students will prepare for and conduct a Socratic seminar in which they will collectively be asked critical thinking questions and must respond with evidence and research at hand. Lastly, fourth, about the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was a struggle for justice and equality for African Americans that took place from the late 1940s and ended in the late 1960s. The organized effort by many Black Americans was created to end racial discrimination and gain equal rights under the law. The movement overall was nonviolent and did result in laws to protect every American's constitutional rights, regardless of color, race, sex, or national origin. So this is just a timeline of the civil rights movement. In 1954, the Brown v. Board of Education, Supreme Court ruled to end racial segregation in public schools. 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott. Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat to a white man, sparking the Montgomery bus boycott for a year. 1957, the Little Rock Nine. 9 Black students are blocked from integrating into a high school in Little Rock, Arkansas. In 1963, I Have a Dream. Martin Luther King Jr. gives his I Have a Dream speech ending the March on Washington for jobs and freedom. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signs the Civil Rights Act of 1964, preventing employment discrimination. And to end, I have a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. from his speech, I Have a Dream, on August 28, 1963. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Thank you.